The Nexus Prime orbital station hung in the void like a glittering jewel, its metallic structure reflecting the distant light of stars. Inside, among the high-tech classrooms and bustling halls, Professor Zyra prepared for her next lecture. Her crystalline tentacles glimmered under the artificial lights as she adjusted the holographic display, casting a deep blue glow across her bioluminescent head crest. The classroom buzzed with anticipation. Cadets from various planets, each representing the Galactic Alliance, filled the seats. Vex, a cocky Zephyrian with iridescent blue scales and 4 arms, lounged back in his chair, exuding a carefree confidence. "Can't wait to hear how terrifying humans are," he said, snickering as he elbowed the Krollic student beside him. Zyx, with his insectoid features and wide, compound eyes, was visibly nervous, fidgeting with the edge of his holo notebook. "Why are we even studying them?" Zyx's mandibles clicked anxiously. "They're just humans. Soft little bipeds. How dangerous can they really be? Just wait." Vex grinned, his scales shimmering with amusement. "This will be a laugh. They don't even have proper claws." As the last of the students settled, Zyra floated to the front, her presence commanding. The holographic display flickered to life, showcasing a serene image of Earth, its blue oceans and green land masses deceptively peaceful. "Welcome, cadets, to our lesson on Earth," she began, her voice smooth and melodic. "Today we delve into the complexities of what many refer to as the Death World." "Death World?" Vex scoffed, crossing all 4 arms. "Looks like a water garden to me." Zyra's tentacles curled slightly, a flicker of something darker than amusement in her eyes. "Indeed, Vex. Appearances deceive. Allow me to enlighten you about the apex predators that inhabit this seemingly peaceful planet." With a flick of her wrist, the hologram exploded into violence. Snarling lions mid-leap, massive bears standing 9 feet tall, and the bone-chilling silhouette of a great white shark bursting from blood-dark water. Zyx's compound eyes dilated. Several cadets shifted uncomfortably. "Humans live alongside these creatures," she continued, watching their faces carefully. "And rather than exterminating them, they forged a complex relationship with them. They hunt, they fear, and in some cases," her voice dropped to barely above a whisper, "they even worship these beings." The classroom fell dead silent. You could hear the hum of the life support systems. "They coexist with predators?" Zyx's voice cracked. "Those things could tear through my carapace like paper. How do they survive? Through intelligence, adaptability, and..." Zyra paused, letting the words hang, a distinct lack of caution that would kill any of us within days. Vex leaned forward despite himself, his cockiness wavering. "So they're just stupid?" Far from it. Zyra's tentacles shimmered ominously. "Humans are the ultimate predators, but they are also capable of profound compassion and breathtaking creativity. They've created art that would move you to tears, music that rivals our most advanced harmonics, and technology that, in some ways, surpasses our own. Yet beneath it all, the predator remains." A low hum filled the room as she activated another display. Human history unfolded. Wars that claimed millions, disasters that would have ended lesser species, yet always, recovery and growth. "Surf," Zyra said, her voice taking on an almost hypnotic quality. "They don't just survive catastrophe, they seek it out." "That's impossible," Vex whispered, but his voice lacked conviction. "Is it?" Zyra smiled, and for a moment, her expression seemed almost predatory. "Danger calls to them like a siren's song. Earth itself is not merely their world, it is their forge. Every challenge, every threat, every brush with extinction has shaped them into something extraordinary." "Wait," Vex's scales had lost their shimmer entirely. "You're talking like Earth is alive." Zyra's eyes glinted with something approaching hunger. Isn't it fascinating that you would think that? Yes, cadet. In ways we are only beginning to understand, Earth nurtures and shapes its children. The very ecosystems conspire to create the perfect predator. The temperature in the room seemed to drop. Cadets exchanged glances filled with growing dread. So humans are just products? Zix's antenna twitched frantically. Manufactured weapons. Not weapons, Zyra corrected, her voice silk over steel. Partners. They have achieved something we thought impossible. A symbiotic relationship with an entire planet. This makes them capable of unprecedented compassion and unimaginable violence. Sometimes within the same heartbeat. Vex's bravado crumbled completely. They're completely unpredictable. Precisely. Zyra's tentacles writhed with what looked almost like pleasure. They love, they create, they nurture, and they destroy with equal passion. The question that keeps our best strategists awake isn't what they will do, it's what they're capable of doing. The hologram shifted to show humans in their daily lives. Laughing, crying, fighting, embracing. The juxtaposition was deeply unsettling. But why? Zix's voice was barely audible. Why risk everything, constantly? Because, Zyra said, and for a moment her mask slipped entirely, revealing something ancient and hungry. That is what it means to be truly alive. They have achieved what the rest of us only dream of. They have transcended mere survival. The weight of her words settled over the classroom like a shroud. Vex sat frozen, his worldview cracking audibly. They're not just aliens, he breathed. There's something else entirely. Zyra's smile was sharp as a blade. Now you begin to understand. They are capable of infinite kindness and bottomless cruelty. This paradox makes them the most fascinating and dangerous species we have ever encountered. Are we here to learn how to fight them? Zix asked, his voice shaking. Fight them? Zyra laughed, a sound like breaking crystal. Child, we're here to learn how to survive them. The Galactic Alliance has a vested interest in understanding humans, because they may be our only hope against threats that would consume us all. X straightened, some of his courage returning. You think they'd actually help us? Zyra's expression hardened. If we prove worthy. But understand this. Trust to a human is not given. It is earned. And they have very specific ideas about what constitutes worthiness. A sharp beeping echoed through the classroom. Zyra glanced at the chronometer, and something shifted in her demeanor, urgency mixed with anticipation. Before we conclude, I have one final revelation, one that will reshape everything you think you know about humanity. Every cadet leaned forward, caught in her web. What if I told you that humanity's evolution, their rise to apex status, was not entirely natural? The air itself seemed to thicken. What do you mean? X's voice was strangled. There are those who believe an ancient intelligence, something vast and patient, has been guiding their development for millennia, shaping them, preparing them. Her tentacles coiled tighter. Are they truly masters of their own destiny? Or are they something else's masterpiece? Zix made a sound like escaping air. They're controlled? Guided. Zyra corrected. There is a difference. But the implications... She let the words hang like a sword. Terror rippled through the classroom. What if they turn on us? Vex asked, his voice breaking. Zyra tilted her head, her bioluminescent crest pulsing in what might have been satisfaction. That, dear cadets, is exactly the right question to ask. Humans are capable of profound loyalty and absolute destruction. The key is ensuring you remain on the right side of that equation. The bell chimed, its sound somehow ominous now. Remember, ZYRS, said as she glided away from the console. The greatest danger lies not in the unknown, but in thinking you understand something that is fundamentally incomprehensible. As the students gathered their belongings in stunned silence, Vex stood on unsteady legs. "I feel like I've been looking at shadows my whole life," he whispered, "and just now realized they were cast by giants." Zix nodded, his entire body trembling. "We're so far out of our depth we can't even see the surface anymore." "Understanding that," Zyra said with genuine approval, "is the first step toward wisdom." As the cadets filed out, their chatter subdued and fearful, Zyra remained behind. Through the viewport, Earth turned in its slow dance, beautiful and terrible and utterly alien. And as she watched, a smile played across her lips, but it wasn't quite the expression it had been moments before. Something hungrier, something that had been waiting. What if she, too, was connected to that dangerous world in ways that went far deeper than simple academic interest? The classroom emptied, conversations dying to whispers in the corridor. Zyra moved to the display controls, her movements more fluid, more predatory than before. "Perhaps," she murmured to the spinning world below, her voice carrying harmonics that hadn't been there during the lecture. "It is time for the next phase of their education." The lights dimmed around her, but her bioluminescent crest pulsed brighter, casting shadows that seemed to move independently. Outside, humanity continued its existence, unaware that the lesson about them was only the beginning of something much larger, something that had been building for far longer than any of them suspected. But in the depths of Nexus Prime, ancient plans were stirring to life.